Everyone, Kim Moore here. I've always been told I have a very unique and interesting story. Kind of a humble person, so I'm not always all about talking about myself. But I figured I'd come on, make a video, hopefully inspire somebody else that's like me or has some issues like me to let you guys know that you can do whatever you put your mind to. So, a little bit about me. I was born in Fort Wayne, Indiana, and I was born without a right foot and some other medical problems like spina bifida and a severe clubbed left foot. My parents were told when I was born that I would never walk. And my dad was asked, what we should do about this little girl. And, fortunately for me, he was like, do whatever you can. And so growing up, I was always the little girl. I was always little Kimmy. Um, but I had two older siblings, and they always told me I can do whatever I want to do. Nobody ever held me back. Nobody ever stopped me from trying the things that I wanted to try. And I grew up in a very athletic, sports oriented family that did many different things. And so naturally, growing up, I always wanted to try to do some of these things. Wanted to play soccer, wanted to play softball, swimming, basketball. Honestly, golf was not necessarily in the picture at that time, but always wanted to stay active and do something because that's who I was. And when I was young, first starting to walk, I started walking on my stump, and my parents were like, hey, we got to get this girl something to walk on. So that's when I got my first prosthetic limb. And then ever since then, I've just grown up with no limits. And so when I was going into my high school freshman year, I was a huge basketball player. Wanted to play basketball. My brother played basketball. My dad played basketball. Um, Being from Indiana, Hoosiers, kind of in the blood. Anyways, basketball was a sport that I was pretty good at, but I was just a little slow because of my leg and because of some of my hip and my spina bifida problems. And so, I couldn't really keep up with the rest of them. And so I was always lagging. And um, again, going into high school, wanted to be active and wanted to participate in something. So that's when I decided to try golf, give golf a chance. And obviously, I'm sure glad I did. Started out just like anybody else getting into the game, got lessons from a PGA professional. And, this PGA professional was very good at adapting to the things that I needed to help me hit the ball and to help me just enjoy the game. But obviously, as I got better, I started to get a little more competitive. And so I decided my freshman year to give golf a try and try out for my high school team. I had some friends that were going to be playing high school golf, so I figured I'd give it a chance. Golf really wasn't a sport that I thought I would enjoy. Watching on TV, I always thought it was kind of boring. Always thought it was something that I just didn't want to partake in. But like I said, gave it a try, and the rest is history for sure. But the one thing that I found out is golf is such an adaptable sport. And for somebody like me, it's perfect. It's something that I can take at my own pace and I can grow because I can adapt to my abilities. So throughout high school, I played on the high school team and I got a lot better. I was fortunate enough at the end of my high school career to get a scholarship to play at the University of Indianapolis. And that is where I really contribute the success of my golf game. At that time, I wasn't the greatest golfer in the world. I mean, I'm not the greatest golfer in the world now. But I really started to develop my game. I played a lot of golf tournaments. I practiced a lot, worked with my golf pro, um, and just really developed my game. And by the time I was a junior and senior in college, I was winning collegiate golf tournaments. The only person that was an adaptive golfer winning college golf tournaments, um, being on the top of my team, being the number one player, um, being top 10, being all American, being all region. So I really started to develop my game during that time. And so going out of college, I wanted to be a doctor. I wanted to help out people like me and share my story with them, all while sharing my profession. But I started to get pretty good at golf, and the competitiveness in me didn't want to stop. So I decided to give professional golf a try. I knew I could always go back to school if I wanted to, but wanted to give professional golf a try. And I became the first disabled player on the Futures Golf Tour to play and to compete. I was playing right there alongside with all the able-bodied players, doing my best and competing at the top level. I was so proud of myself. But as those who have been there know, that it's a pretty competitive sport. It's just you, no team anymore. And so that can be very humbling. So I decided to kind of get into the teaching aspect of the game. And that's when I became a PGA golf professional. I worked at different golf courses, learned the business, learned the insides and outs of the game. And that's when I developed my passion for teaching and coaching. Wanted to coach, and so that's why I decided to coach a little bit out of when I was done with my certification. But teaching is a passion of mine, and so that's why I got into this part again, to help players like myself and hopefully like some people out here watching to get into the game and get into something that they can do. I really didn't start and know adaptive golf until I was out of college, until I was playing professionally. I played in my first adaptive golf event, the National Amputee Golf Championships, and I found a whole new community and found a whole new love for the sport and found a family, to be quite honest. And I'm just so excited and so humbled to see how far adaptive golf has grown over the past 5, 6 years. The USGA really got involved and developed the US Adaptive Open, which has become the biggest adaptive golf event in the world. And I'm blessed to say that I've won it twice. But my journey has just started, right? I'm teaching, I'm building the game for players like yourself and players like me who didn't know that this was possible. And so I hope you enjoyed this little story about myself. I've been blessed with some wonderful friends, some wonderful family who have never held me back and have never told me I can't do what I set my mind to. And that's what I want you to understand in this video. You can do it. You can do what you put your mind to. Don't ever settle. All it takes is hard work, good work ethic, and discipline. This game is tough, but it's a game for everyone. And so I encourage you to get off that couch, work on your game with a PGA professional like myself, and let's start having some fun. If you ever have any questions, if you're an adaptive golfer like myself, or just someone with a disability, please feel free to reach out to me. Would love to help you out, would love to motivate you and get you going and get you off the couch and into a world that's as exciting as this. Thanks again for watching, and I hope you really enjoyed, and I hope I can motivate others just the way I've been motivated by this adaptive golf community.